What's new, 802? I'm Becca Hammond, and you're listening to Vermont Talks. Vermont Talks may include graphic or explicit content. Listener discretion is advised. On this week's episode of Vermont Talks, we have Figuer, a Sirencore indie alt-rock band based in Burlington, Vermont, and comprised of three people, Aaron, Elise, and David. Figuer's playing this weekend, Saturday, July 16th, at the Dancing Pig Festival in Northfield. If you can make it out to Northfield this weekend, go check out Figuer. The band has been enjoying the recent December release of their sophomore album, Jack of All Fruits, and they have a previous album called Transitions. Let's go! Welcome to Vermont Talks. I've got Aaron, Elise, and David here from Figuer. Welcome to Vermont Talks, guys.
Thank you.
So, Aaron, I think you're the front person from everything I've read. Do you want to tell me a bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Aaron. I have lived in Burlington for about 6 years now. I went to UVM, where I started the project. Quickly brought on Elise and David. Now I get to make music with my best friends. I work at Radio Bean downtown doing a slew of stuff there.
Cool.
Just really love being a part of the music community in Burlington. So try to do that as much as I can.
Nice. Where'd you come from before Burlington?
I grew up in Pennsylvania. Like Pennsyltucky, Pennsylvania, middle of nowhere.
Pennsyltucky, that's a great phrase. I've never heard that before.
That's my go-to. Yeah. Lots of farmland, very small class size. Not a lot of people get out of the town kind of vibe.
Yep.
So really different from Burlington.
Yep.
In good ways.
I grew up on a dairy farm in a small town in Berkshire, and that's in Vermont. But this is the big city. Like this is intense compared to those kind of areas.
Comparatively, yes. This would seem like the big city.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is plenty big for me, so I'm happy here.
I also perform solo under the name Winter. I tattoo as well, and I'm a practicing artist in various other forms.
So how do you spell winter? Are you spelling it just W-I-N-T-E-R?
No, it's all messed up again. It's W-I-N-T-R-E.
Got it. Okay. All right, Elise, tell me about yourself.
My name is Elise. I drum in Figuer. I also went to UVM, lived in Burlington for the same amount of time. It's like 6 years. I don't know. It's hard to describe yourself when you try and think of everything you do, but like...
Yeah, no worries. I know you're in one other band. Are you still in Lake Waves?
Yeah, I do still play in Lake Waves. Lake Waves did a Vermont Talks a few years ago at this point.
Yeah, that was back when I started the show,
right?
Pre-pandemic era.
That was an OG Vermont Talks. So yeah, I'm also in Lake Waves, drum in Lake Waves, and I work at Arts Riot, and I'm just similar to Aaron, like involved in the music scene as much as I can. Worked making windows this year.
Nice.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And you're an artist, right?
Yeah, loosely. I got into this last night with a friend of mine. I designed some of the tattoos that I have, and I minored in studio art in college, so
Got it.
Yeah, I like making art, and I also make ceramics, but I wouldn't consider myself like that. I don't know. It's hard to...
Fire ceramicist.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to plug yourself.
I've seen some of your work. It was really cool,
yeah.
Some of your ceramic work.
Thank you. Yeah. I make pottery, so...
Nice. Yeah, that goes so hand in hand with the music scene. Like, we've got artists, so we've got people playing music. We got people who do both. It's a very Vermont-y thing. I feel like having a ceramic artist in the mix with a tattoo artist in the band, this feels very Vermont-y. David, tell me about yourself.
I play bass in Figuer, and I've been in Vermont for about 3 years now. Outside of that, I really like to snowboard and surf, and that was like a no-brainer for me to come up here, at least for the snowboarding side of things. And I'm blessed now to work at Burton, so I get tons of cool gear and basically a free pass. So I'm at the mountain as much as I can during the winter. And then music is kind of just like not really a side hustle, but more of just like a fun side experience for me.
So where'd you come from if you know how to surf?
Funny enough, New Hampshire, which you wouldn't think would be the surfing capital. But we have a small little strip of beach in Rye, New Hampshire that I like to go to. And summer sessions, they taught me how to surf when I was like about 12 or 13 years old. And they moved to like the Genis Beach. They're right across from it now. And so every time I go, I get to say hi to the two guys that taught me how to do it.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty convenient. So do you do any other water sports? Do you paddleboard or anything, since you can actually do that on Champlain?
We've
He hates
gone.
lakes.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Lake Champlain other than the view. But we did go paddleboarding last year, and that was a lot of fun, actually. We just kind of tooled around the coast and got to see some of the other sides of Champlain that normally don't get to see just from Burlington. But otherwise, I like paddle surfing rather than paddle boarding.
Right. I also paddleboard. I really love paddleboarding because I always wanted to know how to surf, but I live in Vermont. So that was my, I'm going to fill this need with a sad similarity. But yeah, I think that's how it started, right? People who would surf were like, I want to surf that wave, paddle. And now I can actually surf that wave. It's a lot easier standing up than laying down the whole time when you get out there.
I read an article, David Brahma magazine the other day, and it was basically just saying like lake surfing is like the most hardcore surfing you can do, basically, because like you gotta really want it because there's no waves, so you have to be like willing to just wait like forever for the perfect wave, quote unquote. I don't know how perfect a wave can get on the lake, but you know, if you're gonna be supping, you gotta be dedicated.
It's wild. I keep seeing these wake boats on the internet in like rivers.
Yeah.
Like they're actually doing cool tricks on these ridiculous little mini waves. Like,
Right.
They're not the biggest waves, but man, they can just follow that boat forever.
Yeah, they'll take like a barge out and do like barge surfing, big old boats.
So if anybody has a boat, let me know.
Yeah.
I'd love to tag along and maybe catch some waves with you.
Right. I'm surprised that's not a thing. There ought to be a boat that just does this that you could pay and follow around in Burlington. Wind and Waves needs to get on this. 'Cause,
Right.
I mean, this is kind of their niche, right? Yeah. Anyway, no, I love the lake. So I gotta ask, so you don't like lakes. Is there some rivalry with lake waves?
The band, they get a pass.
Okay.
I actually really love their music.
Yeah, they're awesome. Everyone should check out Lake Waves and Father Figure. And I'm saying Father Figure, right?
Yeah, it's just straight old father figure.
Okay, because we got to point out, I want to mention this. If you Google Father Figure, it's not spelled the same way that you're Googling. You've got to flip the R and the E at the end of the word figure. Figuer.
Yeah.
U-E-R. Yes, that's right. Yes, so if you're Googling Father Figure, please flip the E and the R at the end. Okay, just had to say that.
If you do it enough in your phone, your phone will just automatically populate the wrong form of figure for the rest of your
life.
Yes.
You're a real
That's
one.
great.
You're a real one.
Yeah, you're a real one if your phone's doing that.
That's great. Okay, all right, so you've got two albums, is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me about your first album. I've got the name written down, but I don't have it up right now, so tell me about it.
Our first album is called Transitions. It came out in 2020, about 2 weeks before the world shut down.
It was on Leap Day.
Oh, yes, February 29th. So
Oh, yeah, that
on the
really
leap day
was
of
2 weeks before the world ended. Yep.
Yes.
Cursed day.
Yeah.
It was a Friday the 13th.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so tell me more about Transitions.
Yeah. That was very much a learning experience for us. There's a great collection of work on there. We had some transitional lineups, so we were working with another bassist, Charity Becker, at the time, and David came on kind of like when we started recording it. So
Oh,
it was-
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, a mixed life there. And then we also had another guitarist at Castle Franks.
Got it.
So yeah, a little bit of a different lineup, but same heart. And I think we like DIY tracked it in our studio. I think we tried it a couple times.
Right.
And I think we were working in the UVM music studio like earlier in 2019 and just had to redo it. Like I said, learning experience.
Yep.
It was hard, but it was fantastic. At the same time, we learned a lot. Our very best friend, Miles Foy, tracked it for us. He's done all of our work now. He's tracked all of our work for us.
I saw that you have an homage to Miles on your website, which is very nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Because if you work with the same person long enough, you really dial in your sound and exactly how you want to be represented on the track. So
Exactly. Yeah, he's taken such care to getting that right for us, and I mean, like he's a part of Father Figure now, in my opinion. So that's why he's on the website with us.
yeah, I think of a band. The longer I talk to bands, and I've been in bands, I haven't in years now, but I have played out with people, and just seeing how to build up a true following and really make a successful band. It's a business. There's merchandise, there's advertising, there's marketing, there's social media presence, there's the actual art, like making music.
It's a
being an
community,
artist.
yeah. It's a whole thing.
It's a business. Yeah, you really need this whole team. So I was really happy to see that you also had not only Miles, but your visual director, I think is how you referred to. What's her name?
Mia Schomburg.
Gotta plug Mia too if we're gonna plug Miles.
Yes, she did a lot of the visual work for our second album, Jack of All Fruits. Really wonderful filmmaker and videographer. Also painter, tattooist, like really just a wonderful artist in general. So felt really lucky to meet her through Miles, their partners. So yeah, lots of heart in that friendship.
Yeah, and it helps represent you. That's the other thing. With music and podcast and all of these things, it's audio. There's no, you can't see a sound wave. I mean, you can draw the sound wave. You can't see the sound wave, so you need the visual side of it. So,
yes.
Yep, I was very happy to see that you'd given them props on the website. That's very cool. I think more bands should do things like that. So, okay, so tell me about Jack of All Fruits, which is an amazing name, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was our second album. I think the first one was totally different era of Father Figure. So I think there's two totally different sounds. Like Aaron said, like the same heart but different sounds. The first one we were still in college and still like figuring out what we were doing, and it's aptly named Transitions. But Jack of All Fruits is more like, I feel it's more conceptual. It's like a more like it pulls itself together a bit more maybe than Transitions does. It's sort of grander scheme. And that was just a really collaborative effort. The first one, we all wrote, but like Aaron said, David came on later, and all those bass lines pretty much were already written before David came. And when we did Jack of All Fruits, it was sort of a fresh start, and like we all wrote all the parts. Like Aaron would come with usually the guitar and the vocal parts, and would have like a structure laid out, and we would just fill in the gaps. We would, David came up with the bass lines, and I would play the drums, and it was very, very collaborative that way with the three of us, which was really nice because it wasn't like, oh, we're playing this song that, Charity and Aaron and Castle and I wrote. It's like three of us, our songs that we finished together.
Right.
So, and yeah, it's got some cool feelings on there. I wrote one of the songs, and Aaron filled in the gaps on that one amazingly, and yeah, it's really cool.
Rare Toe, it's a banger.
Rare Toe. Yes, if you look up Rare Toe, it also spelled weird. If you type in retro, it's going to autocorrect to retro, but it's called RERTO.
Nice.
Nice.
No, that's a really smart tactic. I've got to say, misspelling things is actually a really good internet tactic. Sweet. So I listened to Jack of All Fruits this morning, and I love your sound. I kind of grew up with like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. And I was like, these guys are pulling my heartstrings. This feels so familiar, but it's obviously not like a knockoff of any of those. It's feel like a Vermont pure band making this kind of music that There's not a lot of people making music like that in Vermont. We have a lot of like really rock-centric people. Getting that good indie sound, though, is kind of an art to pull that off. So thank you. I like your music. I was super stoked when I was going through. I've listened to a few little pieces of like your YouTube tracks, which I'll mention. You guys have some live sessions on YouTube. Not your channel, but you can listen on YouTube if that's where you prefer to find some music. Father Figuer. Flip the E and the R at the end. And yeah, just how would you describe your sound? Because when I talk about it, I immediately refer to something else that people might know of. Except Nick and Nora, or what is this other ridiculous Michael Cera, and he's the bass player.
Oh.
Scott Pilgrim.
Pilgrim. I was like, these guys sound like Scott's band. Like, this is amazing. I love you.
Oh, thank you.
So
some good songs.
It reminded me of Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, there's so many good songs in that movie. And I always, watching those, I was, where are these bands in Vermont? Because there's little pockets, but there's not a lot of them. So, how do you describe your sound to people who've never heard your band when you can't pull out a song and play it to them? What do you say?
That's a really hard question because I can never answer it. I'm always just like, angry but not angry, and sad but not sad, and like rock but kind of like soft but then also loud. Like, I don't have like a genre that I explain it. It's super hard to explain. If you want to just like really just like gloss over it, I would just say rock, but it's like way more, I think, nuanced than just rock.
It's so specific. That's it, because you can throw anything in rock, right? Like guar is rock. You guys are not guar.
Right? I wouldn't call it reggae, but you know, rock's a little closer.
So, and I have already mentioned this in the intro, but when you look at your blurb on your website, it says Sirencore Indie Alt Band. And that is the first time I ever heard the phrase Sirencore.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
That came actually from another one of our very best friends, Libby Camp. Like we said, Jack of All Fruits was very much a collaborative effort, and so I lived with Libby at the time, and she was sitting in on one of our mixing sessions. We were just hanging out at Miles and Mia's house. I think we were listening to Apathy, and she adored the vocals on that track, and I think she was just sitting at the table, and she was like, "This shit is like Sirencore. I've never heard this shit." I'm like, oh, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Sorry. And just kind of went into the bit of like I feel like you are like in the middle of the sea, like about to lure me to my death, but it all looks so beautiful that I don't even care. And I just immediately adored the term. So I've kind of stuck with it. And it's also like, you know, people ask me like, what is Sirencore? You know what I mean? So it's even for kind of the tidbit of that. Yeah, I adore it. So I've stuck with it.
It's a beautiful phrase. And as soon as I read it, I was like, this actually describes your sound really well, because I like that it's a long phrase. Everyone's got a long phrase to describe their music, but you have to say indie alt rock like that. That's a part of it, but Sirencore is like, that's the sound you're hitting. It's this kind of otherworldly, ethereal experience where, yeah, beautiful female vocals of like, this is right. Indie alt rock, Sirencore. Sirencore. I really love that phrase, because it's not hardcore. It's alluring core. It's a great word. So yeah, anyone else want to chime in? How do you describe it when you're describing your band?
I mean, for a while I used to say psychedelic just because it was very much like a get in your own headspace kind of music, not so much a dancey or like, I guess some you could headbang to, but like, yeah, just kind of in your own headspace, maybe trip out a little bit.
That's very accurate. There's definitely some psychedelic undertones, definitely. But it's not like psych rock. Because psych rock is some of it's not as good as what you're doing. But there's undertones. It's like psychedelic alternative. That's a good phrase. I can hear it. Yeah, I like it. These are the conversations I love.
Yeah, we don't break into the like 5-minute like solo guitar,
Right.
like over the screaming guitar. It's not quite like that, but there's definitely like jam bits that. But I like that about it, that it's not it's a jam, but it's not quite a jam. Like it's structured, but it's drony and it goes on, but it's not boring. Like I think that's what's interesting.
Yes,
about it. Yeah,
that's a thing. There's a definite thing with some psychedelic. Like there's jam band psychedelic rock where it's just like this warbling, and it's cool. Like that has its own right and place, but it gets really old after a while for a lot of people, me included. Like I love playing bass, but after 20 minutes of the same like 5, it's the same bass line, and they're just jamming over it. I'm like, I'm getting bored. Yeah, cool. Like. There's just so much more interesting things that you can do. And you guys are not falling into that at all by any means, but there are little pieces. You're right. There's little pieces of jam band, but not too much. Little pieces of psych, not too much.
Yeah, it makes it so hard to describe what it is because you can't say it's psych rock or you can't say it's like indie rock. You got to explain it like 5 different ways. It's like, well, how do I best encapsulate how we sound with like one word?
Right. Oh, this is the thing though. This is how music evolves and changes. Right. We come up with words like Sirencore that change the whole world. Because someone came up with the term heavy metal, and that spurred a whole genre of music, a whole subculture of thousands of bands, And it's the same with everything. Punk was like that. Alt rock, like every single piece. So when you come up with new words, then you're like, yes, that fits.
Yeah.
Right.
That actually can change the world. So you're going to tell everyone, Sirencore, that this is the next big thing, man.
It's ironic that Libby said that about Apathy because David sings on that one.
Yeah, that's true.
David is a siren.
How do you feel?
Sound only.
He's got a lovely singing voice.
He does.
Yeah, you guys all have. I don't know. Do you sing on the track?
I do, but I sound so much like Aaron that you can't tell.
We do
Okay,
have
I was
very
going to say, I
similar
thought that it was
ranges.
just Elise.
Yeah.
Or Aaron singing.
You would think it's like a double. I mean, there are doubled, like, there's lots of layers of Aaron's vocal, but then I'm also on top of some of the tracks, and you can hardly tell because we sound very similar.
It's great. No, you guys sound awesome. You're all very, very talented. Oh, we should talk about your show. Let's talk about your upcoming show.
Sure. Yeah, on July 16th in Northfield, Vermont, we are going to be playing a little festival on a sweet little farm. The festival is called the Dancing Pig, and there are acts from around Vermont. I'm not sure if there are any touring acts. The good folks of the Burning Sun are putting it together. And I've honestly never been to Northfield, nor have we played in Northfield.
There's not a huge amount going on there.
But that's
bring the heat.
I love playing in places like that because then, people come out and then you get to play for and meet and interact with a bunch of people you probably wouldn't have otherwise. So
Yeah, especially down in that area. They don't come up to Burlington as much because it's just enough of a drive where people don't get out to the shows. So I'm sure they're going to be stoked to go to a show.
We played this cool festival last year. I forget I think it was last year, 2 years ago. We've played Nightshade a couple times, and Nightshade's cool, but we played this festival last year in Stowe at this like gun range, like shooting range or like camp or something like that. I don't know. But it was nuts because we played this show and then like DJ Taco played like a late night set afterwards. Nice. And it was just like in this like just really random, you wouldn't know it's there, kind of like campy type area. And we just camped out. It was really fun.
Cool. Yeah, those are the best shows in Vermont, right?
Right? It's like, I didn't even know Taco was coming, but all right, I'll dance to some Taco tonight. Like,
right? Yeah. No, for sure. Those are the funniest little music fests, too. And some of them grow. Like, some of them spring up into legitimate music festivals. And it's just people that show up and, like, want to play in some backyard or, farm field. Like, we're all friends. Come play.
Right.
I do want to give our friend Andy a shout out. We just played at the Barrage.
Yes. He came on this show.
Really?
Yeah.
Andy,
No way.
Andy.
Well, hello again, Andy. He does some really amazing work, like right on the Canadian border, but still in Vermont, in Holland. And he has this barn garage thing. It's called the Barrage. and he brings bands both from in Vermont and outside of Vermont, and the local folks pull up with their lawn chairs and some beer and get to see some indie rock that they've probably never seen before. And it's on this like beautiful spread of land with gardens, a million fireflies in the summer, and makes you a home cooked meal for the bands, and
that's nice.
Really just treats you very, very beautifully. We're very grateful to have made that connection. We've played there for the past 2 summers now, and I already can't wait to go back.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Andy was a wonderful person to talk to. I still haven't gotten to go out to one of the shows. That was one of my very few online interviews was with Andy.
Gotcha.
Man, I really need to check that out because that looked like the coolest building in the pictures. I'm a little jealous you guys have gotten to go play. I'm a little sad I missed it. Cool. Okay. So, and then you said you have something's coming up this fall, and I didn't write it down.
Yes.
What's coming up?
So, we are going to be releasing a third project. Our third project, it's going to be a 4-track EP. I adore the 4-track EP, so I'm really excited to be putting one out. We tracked it again with Miles Foy. Came here to Burlington. We tracked it in our practice space. I went to Portland, Maine, where they live now, and did some layering work. Elise and David came, did some more layering work. And yeah, we're gearing towards a fall release for that.
Nice.
We were just honestly super amped by the response to Jack of All Fruits and wanted to keep hitting the ground running. So we have. It's definitely a different color than Jack of All Fruits. Jack of All Fruits is super colorful. This is a little more monochromatic, but in a really beautiful way, in my opinion. I'm really excited about this one.
Cool. So you guys don't have an actual release party scheduled yet?
No, not yet.
Got it. But it's coming.
It's coming.
And this is why people need to follow your social media accounts. And then they can see when the release party is and go.
Really fun. Pull up. It'll be really fun. We're also working on another secret project right now.
Yes, this is true.
It's very, very interesting. I don't know how much I can share. I guess you can always cut it out if we don't want to be sharing this, or do we not want to share this?
Well, yeah, we're forming another
iteration.
We're working with another local group.
Cool.
We started working together, and it worked out much better than anybody expected, I think. And we've been writing a lot of music together, and hope to be performing it eventually.
Nice. Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Let's just say if you know Ravon C, you'll know who we're working with.
It's not
It's not Ravon. We'd love to work with Ravon. We love Ravon, but if you know who Ravon is, you probably know who these people are. That's all I'll say.
Very mysterious. Super mysterious. Okay.
It's definitely a genre blend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Be
That's
cool.
going to be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool if you guys can play like as one. So is it merged as in like this is one new entity, or merged as in this is our creation together?
Yeah,
It was
it's a collaborative.
it was gonna be like a father figure / this group
Got it. Okay.
release, and now we're like, what if we just made something a
Right,
little newer?
right.
It's still gonna be kind of collaborative, but it's like, it doesn't sound just like father figure. It doesn't sound just like them. It's becoming something a little new. So I think
Cool.
we're kind of reorienting.
Cool. Now I have this vision of 2 different bands like playing together, but like they're separate on the same stage. And now my mind is blown, and I really want to see almost like a battle of the bands, but not like we're working together.
Yeah.
Like that would be so cool. Oh my goodness. Now I'm stoked. Okay. So plug your social medias. How can we find you on the internet so that we can find your shows and your albums?
Absolutely. Easiest way to do it is to go to fatherfigure.com. Again, that's Figuer. That's going to have links to all of our social medias. It's going to have a section where you can check out our upcoming shows. It's going to have links to our music. It's going to have a little introductory to our team. And there's like some fun little photos, and we even have like some of our merch, or you can buy albums off the website as well. So that's the easiest way to do it. We are most active on our Instagram. So if you want to keep up with our social media, that's the best place to do that. Other than that, Facebook. We do have a Twitter that's kind of a shit posting.
Yeah, we have a shit post
section.
Twitter.
Yeah, we have a shit post Twitter. Elise kind of handles that one.
I'm off my game. I gotta get back on there and retweet some. See, the problem is that I follow all these fire accounts on my main account, and then I forget that I need to like retweet them on that account so I can retweet them from the father. I just gotta work on it.
Twitter's a weird platform. I find a lot of bands don't really use that one legitimately. And I'm the same way. I'm like, this is... I don't know what this is, but I'm posting this on my Twitter. It's like nothing to do with Vermont Talks, whatever.
It's B tier.
Okay. Anything else that we need to touch on, say, mention?
I just want to give a shout out to my best friends, Mia, Miles, and Libby Camp. I already talked about them. But also Julian and Alex. They are in a band called Matriarch, and they just released an EP called You're Not the Only You, like this Friday, so very fresh. If you like Father Figure, but you want to listen to something a little more pretty, they do a really, really, really beautiful job of relaying what's in their hearts, and it's also in our hearts as well. So, I just want to give a shout out to my friend.
Shout out to Matriarch.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. David, Elise, Aaron, thank you all so much for coming on this show.
Of course.
Thank you.
Woo.
Thank you.
Thanks so much to Aaron, Elise, and David for coming on the show today. If you'd like to check out the show notes page, it's vermonttalks.com/29. Go check out the show this weekend at the Dancing Pig Festival in Northfield. That's Saturday, July 16th, 2022. And that was what was new in the 802. The Vermont Talks show music was created by Jason Baker. Thank you so much, Jason, for making the music. You can check out his website at jbakervt.com.